Hello everybody and welcome back to part 2 of the Whistler Upgrade Saga here on the Dell Latitude D610. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, if you didn't see episode 1 of this, you honestly didn't really miss a whole lot. But if you want to check it out, go ahead and hit that link up in the cards. That'll take you to that video. And I am going to spoil it for you guys who haven't seen it, so if you want to check that out, I'd recommend doing that first. But long story short, we didn't really get anything accomplished in that video. We tried upgrading through 6 different Whistler builds, which turned into about 8, and I wasn't able to get a single upgrade performed. I was only able to get one build successfully installed, just one. We did not get successful with like any of the other builds that I tried, so that was kind of annoying, kind of discouraging, but hopefully we'll be having a better rate of success with part 2 here, because what we're going to be doing today is taking a look at the post-Luna builds, the builds that were introduced or that were released or leaked after the Luna theme was introduced to the operating system. So what we've got right here is I've already installed this because I wanted to make sure this is going to work off camera. So right now I've got build 2462 installed, which actually is the official beta 2 release of Windows XP. At this time, though, this build still identifies itself as Windows Whistler in a lot of places. The branding hasn't been really changed over to Windows XP yet, but we will see that in some of these future builds. So we're going to basically upgrade from this to the official RC1 build, then to the official RC2 build, then to a later release Candidate 2 build, and then finally to build 2600, which is the RTM, the final release of Windows XP. Because we did this similar thing in the Longhorn Upgrade Saga, part 2 of that, where I kind of focused on the official Beta 1, Beta 2, release Candidate 1 builds, etc. You know, taking a look at the official builds that were actually released, and I thought that was going to give us a better rate of success. But as you guys may have seen in that video, and again I am going to spoil it for you if you haven't, we were only able to get one upgrade to work, and that was the upgrade that I did not think was going to work. So like I said, with this build I basically skipped the installation process. I mean, I just didn't record it for you guys because, like I said, I wanted to make sure that everything was going to work properly before starting this video. So I basically installed it, I put in my username, company name, all that good stuff, and then booted up to the out-of-box experience, which you guys just saw, and we went through that, and now we are logging into this build for the very first time. And apparently the system has just recovered from a serious error. So I wonder what this error is. Let's see. Let's click to view the error report. Error report includes information regarding the condition of Windows, the internet protocol address of your computer. Okay, this is the error signature. To view technical information about this error report, click here. It looks like... Okay, so these are the contents, like the files that will be included. I assume this is not a big issue. We'll just click on Don't Send. But you can see that another big change is the fact that we have the Red Moon Desert wallpaper. And I will say this, and I'm going to try to only say this once in this video, but if you are looking for kind of a more in-depth kind of history of Windows XP and kind of how these development builds changed over time, how the development process progressed, I'd recommend checking out this video up in the cards, which is my Windows XP development history video, because that one will give you much more information about this development process. So today's video is not really going to focus on the changes introduced in these builds, but again, it's going to be more of seeing if we can make modifications to this build, the appearance and desktop icons and all of that, and seeing if all of that will be retained as we upgrade through these different builds. So this build contains a very early version of the Luna theme, so there are no options to change like the font size and the color scheme, which I kind of wanted to do. I think we're going to keep the theme as the Luna theme. We could change it to the classic theme and make all those wonderful modifications there by clicking on this advanced button, which is grayed out for the Luna theme, or just the Whistler style as it's called in this build. But I would like to keep it as the Luna theme, but I wonder if we can definitely use large icons. And for the transition effect for menus, this pertains to, like, if I open up the start menu and go into more programs, and notice how it's called more programs as opposed to all programs, how it kind of fades out like that. So if we change this to the scroll effect, it will function kind of more like it did in Windows 9X, where I just apply this here. So we got the large icons, but if I go into the start menu and click on more programs, you'll see that the menu will actually slide out, which is exactly how it behaved in Windows 95, 98, ME, etc. So yeah, it looks like those are really the only modifications that we can make. Maybe we can turn off shadows, we can turn off window contents while dragging, and now you can see it as I drag this around, we don't get the full contents of the window dragging with it, just this outline. And then until I actually let go of the mouse button to move it to a different place, then the window contents will move over to that new place. We can also move the taskbar to the top of the screen and maybe make it a little bit larger, maybe not that large. Let's go down one thing there. Okay, so yeah, that should be fine. So we'll lock the taskbar, which it's not locked by default in this build, and let's turn on a couple of toolbars. At least I just saw the toolbars menu for, oh, I guess it, oh, so it has to be unlocked for you to add toolbars. Okay, so that's interesting. Windows XP did not behave that way. So let's just turn on all these toolbars. Address, we'll turn on links. We can maybe pin some more things, like let's pin file a bug report to the taskbar. Oh, I guess that's, oh, I think I dragged it on top of Internet Explorer. So we'll drag it like right there. Let's just move all these, why not? README notes, running compatibility mode, recycle bin, and yes, I'll just create a shortcut instead, and then we'll make some new icons on the desktop. So let's make a new briefcase. Yeah, I think that kind of does exactly what we want. Maybe we can go into, let's open up my computer here, go into local disk C, and yeah, this is another change as well. You may be able to see that instead of saying these files are hidden and having a link to show the files right on this screen, it actually encourages you to go to the start menu, but there is this contents, like the show contents is still in the sidebar as it was in Windows Me in 2000. So yeah, I think this is a pretty decent set of modifications that we've made. So we're going to go ahead and pop in the next build, which is the official release candidate 1 build 2505. This build was compiled in June of 2001, late June of 2001. So we've got the disk in the drive right now. We're going to see if it comes up with an auto run menu, and check that out. You can see that it does, although because we got the taskbar on the top, the window kind of opens, so we can't really see the entire thing behind it. But this looks, it actually identifies itself. It says welcome to Microsoft Windows XP. We're going to install Windows XP. So this one you're going to see, and probably for the majority of these builds you're going to see in this video, they do look very, I mean, like the setup process here and everything is going to look almost identical, if not fully identical, to the final RTM release of XP. And that's just because they were nearing, I mean, Windows XP was going to be released, I mean, the final build was compiled in August of 2001, and this build is from June, so it's only a couple months before the final RTM release was compiled. So we're going to go with the upgrade option right here, which it has as the recommended setting. So we're going to click on next. And so it should keep all of our, we're going to have the same 180-day license. We'll accept the license agreement. We're going to type in the product key. And there we go. We're off to the races. So it says setup will complete in approximately 51 minutes. Hopefully it won't take that long. But right now it's copying installation files. Looks like it's almost done with that. And so hopefully we will not have any issues. We'll be able to successfully perform this this upgrade. And yeah, there we go. We are restarting the computer. So we're going to press the escape key to restart manually and kind of speed up that process. Well, it looks like it hasn't restarted, but I took this opportunity to update the system date. So there you go. It's at 6/28/2001, which is 2 days after this build was compiled. So we're going to restart the system just from the start menu, and there we go. So we're going to boot into Microsoft Windows XP Professional Setup. So yeah, this is one of the builds that specifically identifies it as Windows XP in multiple places. You saw in the setup wizard, on the boot menu. Most likely once we boot into the next portion of setup, it's going to identify it as Windows XP. If we even get to that point, hopefully we will. So there we go. So you see it's the same. This is honestly the exact same layout that the final release of XP had. So it looks like this was, you know, almost complete, if not fully complete at this point. And so we're going to explore the OS a little bit. We'll see if there are some references to Windows Whistler, but I doubt there's going to be many, if there are even any. This build, just for reference, the build we're upgrading from was compiled in March of 2001, and this one is again compiled in June. So that's about 3 months of time have passed in between these two builds. So I'm going to let it finish the upgrade process, and I'll be back with you guys pretty soon. Well guys, good news, the upgrade successfully completed. That is a wonderful sign, and hopefully we'll be seeing this for the rest of the builds that we take a look at in this video. So you can see now we have a very Windows XP-like out-of-box experience as opposed to the one we saw in the last build. And it is going to ask us for our name. Now, we did put in our name in the last build, but it's asking us for it again. So I'll just type in Michael, and we're going to press next. And there we go, thank you. So we'll click on Finish. And yep, right down here at the bottom, it identifies itself as Windows XP Professional. And all of these builds I've selected here are professional builds, by the way. So interestingly enough, it didn't keep anything. It didn't keep any of our settings, even our files on the desktop got overridden. It actually got rid of files that we created. And this was an upgrade that we did. This was an upgrade. I mean, you guys saw I selected the upgrade option from the setup. So it changed the background to, again, the default wallpaper in this build is not the Bliss wallpaper yet. It's actually the Windows XP Professional wallpaper here with the Windows logo in the background. So yeah, it got rid of the icons. It reset the taskbar. Wow, it actually got rid of everything. So yeah, it looks like I wonder if, because I did set while I was setting up the previous build. Okay, so it did keep the username as Michael and the company as YouTube. That was something I set back in 2462 when I was setting it up off camera. So yeah, I don't know why it got rid of everything else. I guess that's just how this build. So this is not really an upgrade because it didn't keep any of your files. I mean, it literally deleted files from the desktop because there were files there. So like in my computer, is there any, like if we go in here, so you can see that the show contents folder kind of behaves more like it did in XP, just this whole layout. And there is this error log here. I believe this, yeah, because this was before I set the date to June of 2001, which is what the date is set to now. So it kept this, but it didn't keep, like if we go into program files, where there's not really going to be anything here, documents and settings, Michael, desktop, yeah, it just literally got rid of everything. So that's interesting, guys. I've never really seen that happen before, but I guess that's just how this build behaves. It just literally gets rid of all of your changes. I mean, well, not everything, but most things. I mean, it got rid of the wallpaper that we had set, although we didn't set it, but it was the default one from the other build. All the icons, as I said, it actually deleted files from the desktop. The only thing I can see that it kept is in WinVer, the username and, or the owner name and the company name. Those are the only things that it kept. So what I'm going to do is make some more modifications to the desktop. I won't really record it because you guys have already seen how this whole process works. So I'm going to just kind of make some changes, make some new files, and I'll come back once I've got that set up and we're ready for the next build. Alright, so here is a glimpse at the modifications that I've made. Created a bunch of new icons on the desktop and set the background to the Windows. Well, the wallpaper name was Windows 2000, but it looks like the one from Windows Me. And we've just popped in the disk for build 2526. So this is the official release candidate 2 build. So we're going to be upgrading from RC1 to RC2. Let's just click on Install Windows XP. And okay, so we get that same... Oh, and I also changed the theme to olive green, if you haven't noticed that, and set the taskbar at the top of the screen. So yes, we're going to go with Upgrade once more. And we're going to accept the license agreement, and we're going to enter in our product key. And there we go. So yeah, identical process as to what we saw in the last build. The setup obviously looks identical as well. So we're going to let it upgrade to the official RC2 build, and we'll see if it actually keeps all of our files and visual modifications. Well, I've got good news, everyone. We have successfully completed the build 2526 upgrade process. We're going to go through the out-of-box experience here, and check that out. This time, it did not ask me for my name, so that is a good sign that it may have actually kept all of our settings, but let's press finish here to see if I'm right about that. So we're hoping for, oh, check that out. It actually kept all of our settings. Okay. So yeah, all the icons, the layout of everything on the desktop background, the taskbar position and everything. And let me just show you what I was talking about with the desktop background, because the name of it is Windows 2000, but this is the Windows Me logo. I mean, I'm pretty sure this background is from Windows Me, but it just happens to be named Windows 2000. So that's pretty awesome. So I don't think we're going to waste any time. I mean, we were able, I can launch WinVer here and see I launched WinVer in the last build, so it's already got that in here for us automatically because it was the last command that we ran, which is awesome. So once again, this is build 2526. It's got our user information and our company name that we put in back in 2462's setup. So I'm very impressed, guys. We were able to get through the upgrade process on every single build that we've showcased so far in this video, but we're going to move on. We've got 2 more builds to take a look at, one of which is a development build, and then we have the RTM release, which is 2600. The development build we're going to take a look at is 2531, which is a release candidate 2 build, but it's not the official release candidate 2 release, which is this one we're taking a look at right now. So I'm going to pop out that CD, we're going to put in the new CD, and we're also going to change the system date while we're at it. So this one was compiled only a couple days after this build. The one we're running now was compiled on July 24th, 2001. This one was compiled on July 30th, 2001. So we're going to change it to the 31st and press OK. And there we go. So once again, we have the exact same auto run wizard. We're going to install Windows XP. Alright everybody, well, it looks like we ran into the very first issue of this video, which is surprising that it's taken this long for an issue to arise. But you see we've got this error message right here that says this version of Windows XP cannot be upgraded. The option to upgrade will not be available. So this could mean 2 things. It could mean that the version of Windows we're trying to upgrade to is not able to be upgraded to, or it could mean that the version of Windows we're currently running cannot be upgraded at all. And that is what we have to hope isn't the case, because that means we're not going to be able to upgrade from this build of Windows at all. I don't really think that would be the case, so what I'm going to try to do, we're going to basically skip this build. So you see, yeah, the only option we get is new installation, so we're just going to cancel out of setup. And now I'm going to pop in the RTM release of Windows XP, which I've got on this disk right here. We're going to pop that into the drive, and we'll see if this gives us the ability to upgrade. But like I said, still pretty awesome. We were able to make it through 3 builds, again, 2462, 2505, and 2526. The only build that we had issues with for this entire video is 2531. So this is the RTM, the final release of Windows XP. We're going to see if we can just upgrade to it, just like any other Windows upgrade. And yes, it looks like we're going to be able to upgrade to XP RTM, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, 2531 is the only build that we actually had issues with in this video, so pretty awesome. That's 4 out of 5 builds, but I shouldn't say that yet because we're going to see if we can actually get through the XP RTM upgrade process. So we're just going to press next here, and it's probably going to ask us for, we're going to have to accept the license agreement, which is not 180 days only this time, like it's the regular license agreement, and we're going to put in the product key, and there we go. We're off to the races once again with the official RTM final release of Windows XP Professional. So let's see if this upgrade is successful. Well, check it out everybody, here we are on the Windows XP RTM out-of-box experience, which, like I said before, looks very similar to what we've been seeing this entire time. So once again, it does not ask us for our username or company name. We're going to click on finish, and hopefully, just like in the case with the last build, it will keep all of the changes that we made in the last build. So let's just let the system log in here, and yes, it looks like it has. So there we go. Once again, we've got the olive green color scheme, the larger taskbar placed at the top of the screen, and all of our icons here on the desktop. So that is pretty awesome. And yeah, guys, that is pretty much it. I mean, that is going to wrap it up for today's video. Pretty awesome. Definitely much more successful than what we saw in part 1 of this video. I'm glad we were able to get this at least partially working. Because yeah, for those of you guys who saw part 1, you know the struggle that we went through of getting, well, we ended up getting really nothing to work. I mean, we weren't even able to get 2419 installed, which was the build I wanted to start at in this video. But we ended up having to start from 2462. But like I said, 4 out of 5 of the builds that I picked out for this video worked totally fine, which is awesome. And yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this one, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Be sure to get subscribed down below and turn on those channel notifications if you haven't already, to get notified whenever I upload a new video, which I do multiple times every week on this channel. And as always, guys, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.